I'm letting you know right now. And people can say, how dare you say that to me? You can't judge me. By the way, I did a teaching on judging, and the church says you can't judge. You can't call out a mystery. Guess what? The Word says you can. And I've gotten that in other teachings, and I did one on judging. Now, it has to be righteous judgment. If it's unrighteous judgment, the Father's going to chastise you. But yeah, you can judge. Do we have authority over all this? Do we have authority over demons? Sure we do. We have power over the demons. The Father gave it to us. We have authority. Here's what Yeshua said to his taught ones. And having called his 12 taught ones together, he gave them power and authority over all demons and to heal diseases. Luke 9:1. There it is. We have authority. What can Hasatan to us? He doesn't have the authority to do it to us. We have authority over him. In the name of Yeshua, flee, demons, get out of here. They have to leave. They have to leave. We must be diligent in prayer and fasting to discern what voice we're listening to. It's time to connect the dots. How do you do this? We test every spirit. See, that's what's happening too. Whether you're homosexual or transgender, it's the same thing. It's really not really any different. You have to test the spirits. Who's talking to me? Is it the Ruach or is it demons? Beloved ones, do not believe every spirit, but prove the spirits. Test them. Whether they are of Elohim, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. 1 John 4:1. You got to test the spirits. How are you going to know? And you're not going to know unless you know the Torah. Have a solid foundation of the Torah. How to discern who's talking to you. People perish. They perish because of lack of knowledge. Because they have rejected knowledge. And what's he do if we reject knowledge? I reject you from being preached for me, since you have forgotten the Torah of your Elohim. I also forget your children. Hosea 4:6. Again, Jaz was about 3, 4, 5 years old, somewhere in that range. His parents let him dress as a girl. Now he's done the full transition of this. Because you rejected the Torah. I'll forget your children, he says. That's what the Word says. You get mad at me all you want. You have that right to do that. You have the right to do that. I need to pray for you. Because demons are coming upon you. What the demons are angry with is me being the watchman, because that's what we're supposed to be. We're to warn, to let you know what the Word says about this, and help you. Let those with ears hear and eyes see. Now, here's another one in California, in a school. California's new sex ed guidelines encourage teachers to talk to students about gender identity. They're encouraged. Now you got it in the school system. And I've seen in the school system, I've seen a guy look like a girl carrying a purse around on more than one occasion. Here's what it says in California in the new sex ed guidelines. The framework tells teachers that students in kindergarten can identify as transgender and offers tips for how to talk about that, adding the goal is not to cause confusion about the gender of the child, but to develop an awareness that other expressions exist. Hold on. The goal is not to cause confusion. Teaching this to kindergartens, 5-year-olds, is not going to create confusion. These people are teaching your children. Parents, you need to fight. You need to fight for your child. And don't allow this. Get this. This even gets more perverted. Children are being taught transsexual education on transsexual mannequins. A transsexual mannequin. These are not teachers. This is filth. Demonic. These aren't teachers. You've brought Hasatan into the school system, which it's been like that for decades. But near the end times, at the end times, the word says, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. So, to Yahweh's people and to the watchmen, this is not surprising, because we know it's going to get worse. But to teach a kindergartner, are you serious? Are you serious? Just like the penguin story for 3-year-olds. Really? Now, I told you I was going to talk about a school in Virginia. One of the school indoctrinations. Now, I will tell you this. What happened in this Virginia school was this boy actually put a skirt on, went into the girls' restroom, and assaulted a girl. The father didn't find out about this till later, because what they were talking about was, instead of punishing this young man, they just transferred him to another school, and he did the same thing at another school. And this has been in the news recently. But let me read what's happening here with this Virginia school's indoctrination. The Daily Wire's Matt Walsh protested Virginia school's indoctrination and psychological abuse of kids. And it is abuse. He wasn't alone. A few hundred protesters inspired by Matt Walsh gathered outside of a Loudoun County Public Schools Board meeting to push back against progressive transgender policies. Now see, parents are starting to rise up. They want to protect their children. This is their children. And they're being taught this demonic stuff by demonic people teaching this. So they're starting to rise up. And like I said, this has been in the news because they were really angry. Under the policy, teachers must call students by their chosen name and gender pronouns that reflect their gender identity without any substantiating evidence. In other words, you have a young man, his name's Tom, but he doesn't want to go by Tom. He says he's a transgender. Call me Sally. The teachers have to call him Sally. Okay? The policy also allows transgender students to participate in sports and use bathrooms that correspond to their chosen gender identity. So, Tommy says he's a boy. He's in high school, middle school. Let's say high school, middle school. I'm a girl. Okay, Tommy. Since you want to be called Sally, go on to the girls' restroom. Really? Really? Are you kidding me? Think about that. Are you kidding me? A man going through puberty. Well, I'm a girl. I'm going to go to the girls' restroom. And they allow him to do that? Man, those dads, they'll protect their daughters. And I've heard some stuff being said about those dads. Oh, heck no. That boy goes into my daughter's in there? Oh, heck no. They ain't playing no games. But the school says that you've got to let them do that. Because if they feel like they're this, and also sports. Sports, and that's what the girls are all upset about too. Now they can, in certain places, they can do girls' sports. And some of them have actually won state track titles on the girls, in the girl events, with huge advantage. So, like I talked about this, Matt Walsh, he's getting the parents riled up, which should be, they should be riled up. He had amused fans and outraged critics by renting a home in Loudoun County after the school board tried to prevent him from speaking, saying that only county residents could participate in public comments. See, he doesn't live there, but he went there and said, you know, not a problem, I'll rent an apartment. Now I'm part of the community. That's how he got in there to do that. That's how he got around it. Walsh said this as well. And we are speaking out against the indoctrination and psychological abuse of kids that happens in Loudoun County schools and schools across the country. I quote, and I quote this from Walsh. You are all child abusers. You prey upon impressionable children and indoctrinate them into your insane ideological cult, which holds many fanatical views. Walsh said during a brief public comments at the board meeting, by imposing this vile nonsense on students to the point of even of forcing young girls to share locker rooms with boys, you deprive these kids of safety and privacy. And that's true. Safety is the main thing. You are poison, he continued. You are predators, like a pedophile. I can see why you tried to stop us from speaking. You know your ideas are indefensible. You silence the opposing side because you have no argument. And he goes on to quote and says this. While you were giving transgenders all of these wonderful rights, you are simultaneously taking them away from us. I'm sorry, I said a 13-year-old student at Tomahawk Creek Middle School. This was a 13-year-old student. Let me reread that. This is from a 13-year-old student. While you are giving transgenders all of these wonderful rights, you are simultaneously taking them away from us, said this 13-year-old student. I should have the right to use a restroom or change in the locker room without a boy walking in. Now, one mother against the policy told the board this. When my children are at school, they are students and not the school's children. My parental authority does not end in the parking lot. Again, what are we supposed to teach our children? What did I say earlier? The Torah. It says in Deuteronomy 6:7. Hasatan has manipulated the world system of education, entertainment, business, and government. He's in all facets of it. Our world is divided into two camps. Yahweh operates on the Torah. Hasatan and all his demons operate outside of the Torah. Now, remember I told you I was going to talk also about what words transgenders want to be called by. The world is now going toward, don't use words like this. Remember when you were growing up and we all were growing up learning English? You know, the subject, object, possessive pronouns, reflex, and it would say male, masculine, he, him, his, himself. The female would be she, her, hers, herself, right? In the transgender world, they don't want to be called that. They want to have gender neutral words. They, them, their, theirs, their self. And this is a new one I heard, by the way. Z, them, and zir. Instead of saying, she went shopping or he went shopping, you would say, they went shopping. Z is a common pronoun in the gender queer and non-binary communities to indicate someone does not identify with a binary gender. For example, listen to this. This is what they want to say it. Z is studying to be a lawyer and is about to take Zir bar exam. Z taught Zir self how to play the piano. Will you come with me to Zir first recital? Michael asked Christy to babysit and Z said yes. We should write a thank you note for Zem. Ladies and gentlemen, don't cave into that. Because if you cave in that, you're enabling it too. Have nothing to do with that. I will call you by your name. If you're a male, I will call you by your birth name. If you're a girl, I will call you what your birth name is on there. I'm not going to call Tommy Sally. I'm not going to call Sally Tommy. I'm not going to do it. If they want to change, and here's what they want to do too. If they want to change mom to birthing person, here's what I say. What are you going to call the fathers? Fertilizers? I mean, seriously. They want to call the mother a birthing person. Well, if they're going to do that, like I said, let's call the fathers fertilizers. Non-binary is an identity embraced by some people who do not identify exclusively as a man or a woman. Huh. Now see, we're no gender. They don't identify as a man, they don't identify as a woman. They call this gender neutral, by the way. And let me tell you something, when I first heard that, there was a show called, and the older people know what this show is, it was called The Addams Family. And they had a character called It. And this character, It, had nothing but hair from the top of his head to the bottom. You know what he was. That's gender neutral. That's what I can metaphorically say what that is. It. Well, I'm just going to call you It then. I mean, because that's basically what they're saying. Transgendered men do not become women, nor do transgendered women become men. Including Bruce Jenner. And you know, that's been in the news the last few years with Bruce Jenner. He wants to be called Caitlyn now. Now, the thing with Bruce Jenner is, he dresses in a dress, has long hair like a woman, makeup and all this stuff. By the way, the Torah, that's against the Torah, what he's doing, by the way, as well. But the thing with Bruce Jenner is, he's not going all the way with the transition. He's not going to cut off his body part and get a female part. Oh, by the way, this man's in politics. He's running for an office right now. You people who vote for him, I'll pray for you. Now, so, all become feminized men or masculized women. Counterfeits or impersonators of the sex with which they identify. And that lies their problematic future. What's it mean to transition? Transitioning is the process of changing the way you look and how people see and treat you so that you become the gender you feel on the inside. And see, that's the common theme with transgenders. I feel like I'm this gender. I don't feel like I'm a man. I don't feel like I'm a woman. I feel the opposite. Like Jazz said, yeah, I was born a biological boy, but my soul and my soul and my mind tell me I'm a female. No, it's not your soul and mind that's telling you a female. It's the demons, it's the Sitra Hurrah telling you that. Again, feelings is the modern thing. What's the word saying? I'll read it again. Proverbs 3:5. Trust in Yahweh with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Top 5 reasons you can't change your gender. And there's more than that, but these are the top 5. Your DNA. You're born with a very precise DNA. And your DNA tells us if you're a boy or a girl. Amazing how our bodies are pre-programmed to tell us exactly what we need to know about ourselves, like if we are male or female. Yahweh created male and female. He didn't create transgender. Second reason, your hormones. Women have more progesterone, men have more testosterone. You may say you're a boy who's a girl, but your hormones are still going to say you're a boy. Number 3, your body. Without getting to graphic here, you're either born with boy parts or girl parts. And that's what these transgenders that go all the way, like Jazz, they go all the way with it. They cut off their for him it was his male body part. And he put on, he made his body part become a female part. Number 4 reason. It's anti-science. If you're a boy who wants to be or think he's a girl, you won't evolve. Surgery, very dangerous surgery, by the way, and a whole lot of hormonal supplements are required to make that happen. Remember I talked about earlier the puberty blockers. They're stopping you. They're stopping testosterone in a male. They're stopping the progesterone in the female. They're stopping these blockers. Number 5, your family. Just that little thing known as the backbone of society. If you're a dad, your kids need to be their dad. If you're a mom, your kids need you to be their mom. Stop being so selfish. Life is not all about you. Why are you trying so hard to be somebody else? Be you. Because cliche as it may sound, you're special just the way you are. Now, how do transgender people transition? There are 2 different types of transitions or ways to affirm your gender. Social transition, medical transition. What I've seen a lot of is a social transition. This can include coming out to your friends and family as transgender, asking people to use pronouns she, her, he, him, they, them that match identity, going by a different name. Like I said, Bruce Jenner is now going by Caitlyn Jenner. Dressing, grooming in ways that match your gender identity. And I've seen this in schools, by the way. Medical transition. For women and some non-binary people, medical transition may include any of the following. Hormone therapy to create masculine characteristics. Deeper voice, facial hair growth, muscle growth, redistribution of body fat away from hips and breasts, not getting a period, removal of breast and breast tissue, hysterectomy, removal of ovaries and uterus, construction of a penis using skin from other parts of your body. By the way, there's a famous singer, Cher. Her daughter, who's named Chastity, and I can't remember what Chastity's name is now, but Chastity, her daughter, went through the transgender and now says she's a male. Now for men and some non-binary people, medical transition may include any of the following. Hormone therapy to create feminine characteristics. Less body and facial hair, breast augmentation, implants, removal of testes, tracheal shave, making the Adam's apple smaller, create smaller and more feminine facial features, creation of a vagina by inverting penile skin. Speaking of the medical aspects, many doctors are enabling this demonic behavior, like I said before. The state of California instituted in its state prison system a program to grant transgender operations and procedures to inmates who want them and who have more than 2 years still to serve in prison. Now, are these prisoners paying for that? Nope. Taxpayers are paying for that. The states are forcing the people to pay for this filth. Now, 10 reasons why transgenderism is of the Sitra Hara, is of the devil, is of Hasatan, is of the dark forces, is demonic. There's more than 10, but here's 10 of them. And I'm going to get more detailed in this as well. It angers Yehovah, is tyrannical, it fuels child abuse, it contradicts biological and science, biological sex cannot change, it warps manhood and womanhood, it destroys reason, transgenderism is self-destructive. Where will transgenderism lead us? Trans species, transgender ideology, and religious persecution. Number 1, it angers Yehovah. And we know that. Now, I've talked about that, how it angers him. Remember, I told you he made male and female. So you try to change that, attempt to change that, it's going to anger him because he created you a certain gender. And you're telling him, to heck with you, you are wrong, I'm not that gender. I'm going to go to the opposite side. Yeah, you're going to the demonic side. The desire to change one's biological sex not only denies reality, but also angers Yehovah. Nobody is born male or female by chance. but in accordance with a plan of divine providence. Yahweh knew you before he says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I dedicated you. A prophet to the nations, I appointed you. Jeremiah 1:5. See, he has a plan for us. But transgenders, I don't care about your plan. I don't care if you knew me in the womb before I was born. Forget you. I'm going to do what I want to do. That's what they're telling Yahweh. I'm going to do what I want to do. You made a mistake. Yahweh is perfect. The Torah is perfect. Yahweh created male and female in Genesis 1:27. Therefore, to intentionally contradict the biological nature of mankind is an act of revolt against our Creator. You're rebelling against Him. You're rebelling against Him. And you wonder why you're not accepted. You're wondering why you have depression, why you have anxiety. You have it because you're revolting against the Father. You're allowing the demons to come on to you. You're not going to get shalom that way. You're never going to get shalom that way. Never. We're called to help those afflicted or confused about their own sex, not to increase their confusion by offering them a false solution. Charity does not rejoice over wrongdoing, but rejoice with the truth. 1 Corinthians 13:6. Therefore, mercy can never stand in opposition to the truth, for only the truth can set you free. John 8:32, or Yohanan 8:32. That's the only thing that sets you free. You're in bondage to the devil by doing what you're doing. And get angry. Get angry. Fine. That's between you and the Father. Because as a watchman, I have to warn you what's going to happen. Because you're rebelling against the Father. And I will pray for you. Because we're supposed to pray. The Torah says pray day and night. Meditate on this day and night. What do you wrestle with? What are you wrestling with? You see, even the Word tells you what you're wrestling with. Let me tell you what it says. Because we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against authorities, against the world rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual matters of wickedness in the heavenlies. Because of this, take up the complete armor of Elohim, so that you have the power to withstand the wicked day, and having done all to stand. Ephesians 6:12-13. You got to put the full armor of Yahweh on. You can't do this yourself. You got to have the full armor of Yahweh. Now we can resist the devil. We have power over the devil. But you got to have that full armor. You got to follow. You got to walk the walk and talk the talk when it comes to the Torah to have that protection of the darkness of this age, the Sitra Hurrah. We have that power. But if you don't want that power, then what you're going to get is Hasatan. And don't tell me, now one transgender or homosexual, don't tell me you're happy. Because you're not. You're delusional if you say you're happy. Because the only happiness comes from the Torah. Period. Another one, number 2, is tyrannical. On May 13th, 2016, the Obama administration ordered all public schools, all of them, to allow members of one biological sex to use the showers, locker rooms, and restrooms of the opposite sex. See, you got it in the White House. He ordered the schools. You will do this. He just put a curse on the country by doing that. Because that's not of the Torah. In one fell swoop, the federal government imposed transgender bathrooms on all public schools in the nation. States that oppose the measure have been threatened with severe penalties, such as the loss of federal funds. Let me tell you something. Schools that oppose it will be blessed for opposing that. Okay? You want to talk about severe penalties? What Obama did, he's going to get his for that. He's going to get a severe penalty. Because we all get chastised by the Father when we rebel. This man is forcing the issue. There's a severe penalty. And any school that conforms to that will have a severe penalty. Just like any parent that enables their child. Physicians that do those operations. The therapists that say, look, you need to talk to your child. You need to help them get through this. Severe penalties. The transgender revolution is self-destructive, tyrannical, immoral, abusive, and spiritually and physically unhealthy. It'll kill you spiritually. Concerns of parents for their children were brushed aside by the government. The right to privacy and the importance of guarding our children's innocence were likewise trampled upon. He didn't care. No, you will do it in every school. And if you don't, there will be severe penalties. He's working for the demons. The transgender movement, like Islam, is only satisfied with total submission. Morality is no longer tolerated. Number 3, it fuels child abuse. Yes, I said it. It's child abuse. According to the American College of Pediatricians, the public promotion of transgenderism constitutes a form of child abuse. Conditioning children, indoctrinating children, into believing that a lifetime of chemical and surgical impersonation of the opposite sex is normal and healthful is child abuse. Endorsing gender discordance as normal via public education and legal policies will confuse children and parents, leading more children to present themselves to gender clinics where they will be given puberty-blocking drugs. This, in turn, virtually ensures that they will choose a lifetime of carcinogenic and otherwise toxic cross-sex hormones and likely consider unnecessary surgical mutilation of their healthy body parts as young adults. And that's what Jazz is going through. That's what many of people like him are doing. It contradicts biological science, number 4. Gender ideology contradicts basic biology. The same progressive movement that once worshipped at the secular altar of science to the exclusion of Yahweh and metaphysics has turned against its own science, is everything dogma. Now, all scientific evidence that disproves the transgender narrative is discarded. They don't care. Transgenders don't care. They don't hear it. They're going to do their thing. Number 5. Biological sex cannot change. I don't care what your soul and your mind is saying. You can't change your gender. Whether you're male or female, you cannot change it. And like Jazz,